Seeing as we're about to spill the tea, let me make some first. Yes, I have my own kettle. What do we want today? First things first, let me just say that this is completely subjective. My body positivity journey is going to be completely different to anyone else's. It's a really personal thing, and I understand that my story isn't going to be the same as yours. But yeah. So as we all know, I recently started posting body positive kind of posts on Instagram, completely different to what I used to post. I used to post like butt pics, mirror pics, like occasionally a workout and then like whatever, and that's okay as well. I'm not saying it's not, it's just completely different to what I was posting before. I thought I would continue talking about this on YouTube because I've got a lot to say about the matter, and I feel like you can't really necessarily convey that on Instagram. So my kind of like size journey, like it's annoying that I have to talk in sizes, but at the same time it's kind of the only way that we can like portray how it changes. So I've been a size 8, but I've also been a size 14. I think the best way to explain my body positive journey would be to explain those fluctuations, how I felt at those times, at those weights, at those sizes. That way you can understand the events that led up to where I am today and how those events have kind of shaped my approach to loving the skin that I'm in. I know that's really cliche, but yeah. So let's get started. I can't really pinpoint where my issues with body positivity started, but I can remember my first ever diet. I would think I was year 10. I actually remember it being the caveman diet. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of that. It's basically where you eat stuff that a caveman would find. So you just eat fruit, veg, nuts, occasionally some meat. And that's pretty much it. I actually got a memory on Facebook and it was a picture of all our school lunches, all the girls. I went to an all-girls school, and mine was just green salad and apple and water. Like, that is not enough for lunch. Like, literally, what was I thinking? 15 years old, year 10. Like, that's not okay. I think I ended up losing about a stone. Like, I was already quite skinny, like just not as skinny as my friends were. There's nothing to do with them. I'm not going to put anything on them. They weren't pressurising. None of them had eating disorders at school. It was fine. It was just in my own head. I needed to be as skinny as them, but genetically, they were just skinnier. Their parents were skinny. That is how they were. Like, you can't help that. So from then till now, so year 10 till now, obviously that is quite a lot of time. It's nearly 10 years, but it's taken me that long to get to where I am today, which is mental. 9 years to be body positive. So I fluctuated loads. I went travelling with my best friend on my... let's just turn that off. I went travelling with my friend around Asia and everywhere on my gap year, which I was really lucky to do and I loved it. However, I was away for 7 months and it was my first proper time away from home for a long period of time. I gained around 2 stone. I remember my sister coming out to see me. I remember her just like poking my boob and being like, Jesus, it's huge. Because that's where I gained my weight. Then I went to uni, probably a size 12 to 14. I would say. Bearing in mind at school I was like an 8 to 10. I went up 2 sizes, maybe 3 in some brands. Freshers was great. I was drinking all the time, met loads of new friends, loved it. And in the last 3 months of university I lost around 2.5 stone, maybe 3. This wasn't purposefully. I think it was just the stress of exams, / also I got a really nasty mouth infection and I couldn't eat for about 2 weeks. So I was already gradually losing weight up until then, but then that kind of pushed me over the edge. I couldn't open my mouth, so I had about 60 mouth ulcers in my mouth. I couldn't open my mouth, so I had to drink through a straw for 2 weeks and lost about a stone in that time alone, maybe a bit more, even maybe 2 stone. That's where I had like my most weight loss. So I went from a size 12/14 to a size 8. So that summer, size 8, went to my sister's wedding, obviously. I went to loads of festivals, which I loved, and loads of parties. So I was at loads of social events. I would not be able to tell you how many people commented, on how good I looked. You look so good, you're so skinny now, la la la, all this stuff. I even got loads more boys sliding into my DMs. People who I hadn't spoke to in years were messaging me, how did you lose the weight? Oh my god, you look so great. And obviously that had an effect. This was the first time I probably felt skinny. And this is because people were saying how good I looked and boys were messaging me, and I was like, oh damn, my self-confidence did go up quite a lot. I was very confident. I was like, yeah, I look good, but I didn't feel good. This is the thing. Anyway, second year comes along at uni, and to be honest, I had quite a lot of fun. I was going out maybe 4 or 5 times a week, spending my money on alcohol, entry to clubs, and Ubers, pretty much. That's my 3 things. Yeah, no money for food, but I ended up eating a bowl of rice each day with ketchup. That was my go-to meal because it was the cheapest thing in the world and it filled you up really quickly. And then I would have a massive Robinson's water bottle filled with iced coffee, and that was all I would have all day. And that's how I kept the weight off. So I was extremely unhealthy. I wasn't working out. I was partying all the time, drinking my body weight in booze, and eating not a balanced diet at all, like awful diet. But I got really badly depressed. It was probably one of the hardest years of my life, even though on the surface and on social media it looked like I was having the best time of my life. So to top it all off, I finally got diagnosed with plaque psoriasis in May of 2017. It covered at the worst about 75% of my body. So it's all over my back, all over my head, all over my legs, elbows, arms, boobs, everywhere. And it really deserved its own video. I'll do a different one on that. That summer, in August, I decided to change my lifestyle and my diet. I went vegan, I went gluten-free, moved to Sweden, and that's where I started working out more. I didn't just move to Sweden because I was like, oh my god, like, I'm depressed, I need to move to Sweden and sort my whole life out. No, I was going to study abroad out there, so I had a reason to go out there. The Swedish lifestyle is just amazing. They're all pretty much like really body conscious and healthy, and it's would highly recommend if you do have the time. But at this point, I was relatively skinny from second year anyway, but then I moved to Sweden and started working out. Now, I'm very bad in the sense that I go to the extremes. I'll either go really heavy drinking, or really like teetotal, like fitness and everything, and I've never seemed to find a medium. Yay! So, moved to Sweden, started eating well, would have a soup every day for lunch and like sweet potato chips and something for dinner and like a yogurt bowl with like fruit and desiccated coconut, and I was just so healthy. So much so that I started working out probably about 4 times a day. A body pump class, and then I would go to a spin class, then I'd go to a yoga class all in a row, then I'd go to uni, I'd go home, I'd do whatever, and then I'd come back and do another body pump class, or come back and do like a HIIT workout with one of the girls or something like that. I worked out to the extreme for me back then, and that was probably the leanest I've ever been. I mean, it wasn't even lean in comparison to like a lot of the social media girls, but for me, that was the leanest I've been. At all these points when I've been skinny or lean or whatever, and even when I was then and I was the leanest I've ever been, I never thought that I was skinny or fit enough. Everything I did was obsessive, whether it was food or over the gym or anything. I remember I fancied a boy at the time. I just remember thinking, oh, maybe if I like get really lean, he was really into gym, and I was like, oh, maybe if I get really lean and slim, like he'll like me. No. He liked me as a friend, I will just say that. He just didn't like me like that, which is fine. Peace out, you know who you are. This kind of obsessive behaviour kind of followed me back to Southampton. So the gym and eating healthy was great, but it was also kind of levelled out by partying. So I was going out maybe 4 or 5 times a week drinking, but then I would be eating really healthy, occasionally having a binge if I was drunk or whatever, which is fair enough. But working out at the gym 6 times a week, combined with 3 spin classes at 6 AM on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday, I lowered the exercise a little bit and upped the drinking a little bit. So it was kind of like neutral, but it was still, I think, quite to the extreme. Like, I was going out heavy drinking every night and then going to the gym for 2 hours every day. But saying that, my mental health got great. So in Sweden, my mental health completely cleared up. I don't know if it was going vegan, I don't know if it was moving to Sweden and getting a completely different perspective. Either way, it worked. I have a few dips occasionally if I'm on my period, please don't come near me. But I still wasn't necessarily happy in my body. I think that was partly down to social media, and obviously I follow loads of fitness girls and they're great, don't get me wrong, I love them to bits, the community is amazing. But I used to go to these PR events for protein companies. I went to quite a few and I really enjoyed them. You get to meet the girls. However, the downside of these events is that I would get so anxious before. I felt like I was almost a fake fitness influencer, because I wasn't as skinny as these girls, I wasn't as petite as these girls, I wasn't as muscular as these girls, which is ridiculous because I've been working out for like 2 years, and yeah, like that's not as much as some other people, but that's still quite a lot. I was still really anxious and I just couldn't get out of my own skin from comparing myself to these other girls. I was like, I'm gonna have to do something about this, right? Essentially, what I'm trying to convey with these like little stories of how I fluctuated from like weight gain to weight loss to weight gain is that no matter what size I've been, whether a size 8 or a size 14, I've always hated my body. I've looked at it and been like, that's gross. No one's gonna love that. You aren't worthy. Which is not right. So last summer, everything kind of changed. This is when my kind of the upward spiral. I forgot about my tea. Ooh, nice pang. Anyway, where was I? The upward spiral. I started working for a sailing company in Greece, basically just working on the boats. That meant that you were in your bikini, I would say, maybe 90% of the time. You'd put on a nice dress to go to dinner. That was it. And I think subconsciously, I kind of became happy in my body. So you're on a boat, me and 2 boys, one's a skipper, one's an engineer. At the beginning I was like, oh god, I don't want to get in a bikini in front of these boys. But then I was like, do you know what? I don't really care. So I think probably that actually really helped me. Just like wearing a bikini in front of anyone and being like, yeah, I look great. I think this is probably the first time I genuinely like loved my body, possibly ever. I then went on a ski season, which wasn't for me. I'll put my hands up. Felt myself starting to hate my body again. I think this was because I was in a really, really low place. I wasn't enjoying myself and I wasn't working out, which was quite a big thing for me. And I just slept all day and I was just in a low place. So yeah, my body positivity wasn't great. I came home anyway, and obviously I've had 12 weeks in lockdown. I've got back to that girl I used to love that summer. Like, I love my body again. It's no different to what it was for ski season. I'm literally the same size. Like, it's nothing to do with size or shape or anything. I'm in a different environment and I'm taking control of my environment and taking control of my days, and that helps me. Now I can happily say that I am positive about my body, whether I've got a little bit of psoriasis on my elbows and my knees, or like my boobs are bigger than they should be and I'm top heavy. I love all these bits about me now, like they're what give me life. Of course I want to be healthy physically, I want to go to the gym, I want to eat healthy food, but I also want to have a glass of wine whenever I want to. Well, not whenever, we're not going to do day drinking. I want to feel like I can have a gin and tonic without having to do another 20 minutes of HIIT the next day to burn off that 150 calories. I want to find a balance, and I am. I work out every day, I love it. I don't work out to lose weight, I work out to feel good because I genuinely feel good after it. And that's different for everyone. I'm not saying you need to work out if you don't want to. And I eat healthy because pretty much I'm vegan, so everything's pretty healthy anyway. Occasionally I have a vegan pizza because I'm like, oh damn, but they're very expensive, so I don't buy them. I just want to point out that I'm not 100% body positive. I'll always have good days and I'll always have really bad days. Like when I'm on my period, I hate myself. I feel bloated, I feel horrible, like I am the worst. It's only natural to compare yourself, so that is going to happen, especially with social media nowadays. I can honestly say that learning to love my body and stop hating it and stop hating all the little flaws has probably been the best thing I've done in my life so far. I feel like I can finally start living. I'm stopped counting calories I'm eating. I've stopped counting calories I'm losing from exercise and trying to figure out if I'm in a calorific deficit. I'm focusing on what actually matters. I'm enjoying my hobbies now. I'm starting ceramics, doing this, I do workouts, I'm reading a lot more. Who knew I could read? Congratulations if you got this far. That was a long rant. So thank you if you did stay. It's really important that we all start sharing our, not even body positivity journeys, because some people aren't there yet. Like, I know some people struggle. People in my family struggle really badly with this. And I'm lucky enough to finally got to my place. Okay, yeah, it's been But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it's given like a little light into my kind of journey. I'm not saying that you should do all of that to get body positive. It's not like a set thing like do this and you will get body positive. It's like this is what happened to me. I don't really know how I got body positive, but it just happened and I'm here for it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below if you want to see anything specific, if you want me to do anything specific. But yeah, see you later.